Good afternoon. It's Rob with Echo Fine Properties, and we're back highlighting another local business in our community. Look at that behind me, real quick. Let me get out of the shot. Oh, I just missed it. But it's a great video. We previewed this man and his business maybe a little over a year ago. Located in downtown West Palm Beach, this is the place to go for custom jewelry. And this is a family business. We were just talking before we came on the air here, and he has been doing this since he was like 8, unofficially working at it, coming in with his dad. And at 23, he's been working with jewelry and making custom jewelry, as you can see behind me here. I'm just gonna get right out to the right now to Sophie Schneeberger, real estate agent at Echo Fine Properties. Hey, Sophie.
Hey, y'all. What's going on?
And Mr. Greg Nash of Nash Jewelry Company, located in downtown West Palm Beach. Greg, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Rob? It's nice to have me on your show today. And hello to Sophie.
And we made history today, Greg. This is your first Zoom interview. Is that correct?
Yes. This is my first official Zoom.
We're part of history here. We're part of history.
It's
So,
my
Greg,
maiden voyage. It's my maiden voyage.
well, thank you. Thanks for coming on today. And I'm just going to let Sophie take it away. So, Sophie, let's find out a little bit more about Greg and his company.
Yeah, I mean, like Rob was just saying, you're not the average retail jewelry store. I mean, tell us all about Nash Jewelry Company, because, like I said, you guys aren't just the same old that you see around.
Right. Well, originally my father, jewelry business, just to give you a little quick history, goes back in my family over 120 years. My great-grandfather had jewelry stores in Kiev and Ukraine. Then when the wars came, unfortunately, they killed my grandfather, took over his stores. But my great-grandma was able to buy herself out with diamonds laced in her pocket. She took my grandfather and his brother to Israel. So then they were safe there. So then my grandfather migrated to New York. My great uncle, went to England. He became a diamond dealer. And then my grandfather became a jeweler in New York City. So, and also it's a funny little side story. My grandmother, her name is Grandma Sarah, she used to cook a lot. So they also had a restaurant too. So they had a jewelry store and they had a restaurant. So then my father got into the business and he was working in New York City and then decided to move down to West Palm Beach in 1955 with his partner, Cesar Rua. And they came down in 1955, came to the West Palm, came to the Guarantee Building, and at Suite 503, and we've been in the same building ever since. So we've been here 65 years in the same location.
I was just going to say, what a rich history from the beginning all the way out in Europe. I mean, a completely different area. And now here you are in our neck of the woods in downtown West Palm. I think that's really cool. What kind of services have you been providing for your customers all these generations?
Well, all these generations, one of the main things that we do is custom design. So custom design jewelry, if somebody has a picture or anything of an idea what they want, I'll take that picture. I draw, and I also do as a side project for my grandchildren. I draw a children's book in the paint program. So I'm doing that. So I show them the pictures and said, anything that you want, I can draw easily. So if they give me an idea what they want, I'll draw it up myself. I'll show them the drawing, and sometimes I'll make changes, step by step, showing it to where I have a drawing that they like, and then I'll send it off to get a CAD made, which a CAD is a three-dimensional picture of it. So there's a three-dimensional pictures, and there's also three-dimensional 3D on the CD. No, it's a CAD 3D design. Sorry for that little word. And then I show that to my clients and get their approval. And if they want something changed, I'll change it in the CAD design. I mean, sometimes I'll have to change something maybe 10 times till they're 100%. And I have OCD, so I'm very OCD when I make a piece of jewelry. It has to be 100% perfect before it leaves my hands. So then after that process, I'll get a wax model made so they can actually see the model of the jewelry, have the wax model, put it on their fingers, and if they're diamonds or colored stones or what have you, I'll have those and I'll place them in the wax so they can get an idea. And then I'll get their approval on that. And every step along the way, I want to make sure they're involved and see everything as it's going. And then they approve the wax, then I make the piece of jewelry. And then, of course, when the jewelry's made, it goes on their hand. I see those smiles. And that's, I mean, that's the best thing is when I see a smile, they're very happy. And I don't want to sound cliche, but that just, warms our hearts.
I think that's amazing that they can really follow, every step of the process to, usually a lot of times a piece of jewelry that they're going to wear every single day, for a long term. And I think that's really cool. So when someone comes up with an idea of a ring, can you provide the stones, or are these sometimes people who have stones there already, maybe it's passed down from a grandmother or something along those lines?
Yes, it works both ways. We sell G.I.A certified diamonds. So if they want a diamond, it'll have the G.I.A report with that. So whenever anybody buys a G.I.A diamond from us, I have the actual report with the diamond so they can see the report. Unfortunately, there's different horror stories. People buy things in the islands. They'll have a Xerox copy and say that's what they gave them. I said, that's not right, because I'm a G.I.A gemologist and I do appraisals too. So I show them everything, all the diamonds and all, color stones, whatever it might be. I've had some unusual things that people have had, or if they find a stone, and I'll make a mounting or a necklace for them. And then also if they have a stone or piece of jewelry, piece colored stone, what have you, they'll bring it in, and that's could be from a family heirloom. We do a lot of that too. And then I make the mounting or necklace around that diamond or colored stone.
Do you have any sort of like crazy jewelry stories where someone brought you something just totally absurd and you had to make, lemonade out of it?
Yeah. My wife and I, it's funny you ask, because my wife and I were talking about that on the way in. Because, as a bench jeweler for 45 years, I've had all kinds of crazy things going on. But I think one of the craziest was, for me anyway, my wife has her craziest too, is a lady came to us from Palm Beach, and it was the lady's personal representative, and she brought in a dress, which we looked the dress up, and it was a designer dress. I think the dress was worth about $5,000. Mm-hmm. And on the dress, it had like a necklace. It had a silver necklace that was sewed into the actual dress. And then she had another piece that she told us how her boss's daughter wore the piece, but broke it off. So she didn't want to tell her boss what happened, because she was supposed to be taking care of the house and everything, and the daughter took this. So she said, "Can you help me and put this back?" I said, "Sure." So it was a piece on a hinge, and it was movable, and everything was sewed into the dress, so I couldn't take the necklace off the dress. So I had to carefully wrap the dress up in a bag and carefully make a new bezel and wire the pendant so it flipped back and forth. And when the lady picked up the dress from us, she said it looked better than the original. And I guess the lady was happy because it never hurt her back, or they didn't say anything, and everybody was happy. And of course, kept the personal representative out of trouble.
I love hearing stories like this. Now, one of the really cool things about you guys, as a jewelry team, I should say, is that when someone comes in, they're working directly with you as the owner of the company.
Exactly.
But,
right.
I like to, they like to say that behind every successful man, there's a good woman. And I know that we heard Marianne over there in the background. I was hoping she'd come in, pop her face in.
I'm looking right at her. Okay, great. She has a good story too of another strange thing also.
Hi, I'm Marianne.
Hey, Marianne. So when people call, they call into the store there, or the shop, I should say. You're the one who answers the phone, huh?
That is correct. I am the one always trying to be very happy, positive,
friendly.
A lot of these people have horror stories that their mother or grandmother left something someplace. So my main my main goal is to make them feel extremely comfortable with us, to come in to meet us, and we have to win them over. And 99.9% of the time, I would say we win them over.
Because we do a lot of insurance replacements. So a lot of people call us. They're upset that they lost their piece.
Right.
They'll tell us that story, and then they'll come in here. We're almost like a therapy session because, we'll spend maybe an hour talking to somebody, and they'll tell us their troubles. We've had ladies, unfortunately, that be crying in front of us, which is fine. And then they say they loved coming in to us to talk, and it made them feel better because with insurance, they lost a piece. It was very dear to them. And with Mary Ann's smiles and mine, we make them feel comfortable and at home.
We pride ourselves on our customer service. We go beyond. Even with the virus that has plagued us since March, we were in the midst of a few jobs during that point. Greg was working out of his office at the house, and then to deliver jewelry, we were delivering it to people's homes on our own. We'd go out with our masks on, and one woman I met at Publix up in Jupiter at the
Donald Ross Jupiter.
Right. And then another woman, we went back and forth to her home a couple times in Admiral's Cove. We really, really go out of our way to try to do anything we can, and especially at this particular time, to make it as easy as possible and for people to feel comfortable.
Well, I believe that 100% because I've been following you two for a while now, and your reviews are always 5-star, 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 and your social media.
Yes.
I mean, I see some of the designs that you created, Greg, and what you post on social media, and I'm just blown away. But Mary Ann, I have to ask you, what's it like being a jeweler's wife?
Oh, it's lovely. There's no question about it. I have to tell you, Sophie, Greg and I have been together 39 years. And a lot of people think when I was in my early 20s, I looked him up in a phone book and said, hey, you want to go out and get a sandwich? Because I have loved jewelry since I've been a little girl. But it's very nice. I love it. Of course, one thing that always strikes me funny is people think I get new jewelry every other day, which is not the case. But I have the most generous husband on earth, where he always wants to give me something, make me something, always. I have to tell him to slow it down. So it definitely has its benefits and perks. There's no question about it.
Well, you only have so many fingers.
That's right. That's what I say.
There's some, different little baubles here. That's a blue topaz ring. It's 23 carats.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
I don't want to turn your arm. Matching bracelet.
You made that bracelet?
Yeah, and then I have a charm bracelet of my dogs and my grandchildren and my daughters. But it's a wonderful, wonderful perk. There's no question about it.
Because it's so nice. Like when we make a piece of jewelry, like what was it, last week? Yeah, last week we delivered 2 engagement rings to 2 different clients. So at the moment we knew when they were going to be giving them that night, which was so nice. And then they gave the rings and they texted us pictures of the engagement.
It was really sweet.
Which is very sweet. And of course I said, can I post those pictures on my media? They said, of course. So it's very nice because we're involved with them with their engagement. We're an integral part of it.
Which for some women, that's the most special piece of jewelry they're ever going to own. It's certainly one of the most memorable pieces we'll ever own. No question.
Right.
Absolutely. And maybe a piece that'll get passed down to their family for generations.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Exactly
So
right.
I think it's amazing. So people can come to you. I want to make sure that I get all of your services, and we touch on all of them. People can come to you for appraisals, get custom design jewelry. They can come to you if they're working on maybe insurance claims or estates, that kind of thing. Anything else that I'm missing?
Right.
Oh yeah, definitely repairs.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, repairs.
Repairs.
I mean, that's a major part of the business. When my father started, he did all the repairs for all the jewelry stores in West Palm Beach down to the Keys. They did all the repairs back then because a lot of the jewelry stores didn't have jewelers on premise. There wasn't many around, and we were basically the only shop, in town to do that.
And repairs are very, very crucial. They can be very touchy as far as items need to be done. Greg had a ring in at the end of last week that it needed to be sized down two sizes, two and a half, I think, sizes. And there were stones running down the side. And of course, Greg, with his experience, knew it couldn't be pulled down, because if so, the stones would start popping out. So Greg had to take another ring, really like a half of a ring, and he inserted that inside the ring, soldered it in, and that took the bulk out to make it the 5 1/4 it needed to be, instead of, I believe it was a 7 or 7.5 when he purchased it. But if you had taken that just to somebody that didn't know what they were doing, they would have caught it, maybe pulled it down, and then there goes the stones. Yeah, but that's experience. There's no question about that.
Over the years, I've resized thousands and thousands of rings. So, any repairs, that's a major part of our business is repairing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even it's funny, like some stores will call us and they say, we've gotten in trouble, we can't fix this, and they'll send the person to us, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. which is very nice.
I mean, to me, it seems like a no-brainer to go to you guys over anyone else, because I feel like if I were to bring you a piece of jewelry, I know exactly where it is. I know exactly whose hands they're in. I know that I can get a call directly from you or to you if I need to speak to you specifically about the piece of jewelry. I mean, it's very hard to find that these days. So I think that you guys
I agree with you, Sophie. It's hard to find that in almost any business any longer, just to get that personal person to be able to speak to. And I 100% agree with you.
And you're speaking to the person that's handling the jewelry, mm-hmm. or doing the appraisal.
Right.
And a little side note, whenever I do appraisals for clients, I do them right in front of them, so they don't have to leave their jewelry. Mm-hmm. I take all my notes, and then, of course, I document everything. Because I know some of the stores, they'll send the jewelry off, or this, that, and the other. People have told me crazy stories where they'll say, oh, this jeweler said I have to take the diamonds out. And I said, no, you don't. I said, anybody knows what they're doing. All I have to do is measure them, calculate it, and you figure the size. And I always hit it on the head.
And we've had some people that have sat here in the office with Greg 2, 3, 4 hours because we want them to be comfortable. They just met us, and it's their precious babies they have with them. And we have no issue with them staying right here, and Greg does everything in front of them.
And, same with divorce appraisals, sometimes I'm working for the husband, sometimes I'm working for the wife. And, you have to be I'm very passionate towards, both sides. And a lot of times, like if I'm working for, say, the wife, if I'm working for, say, the husband, the wife comes in to see us, I'm doing her appraisals. We turn out, we're friends. And then after, when things are settled, and she'll become one of our clients. That's happened a few mm-hmm. times. Mm-hmm. Because we want to make everybody comfortable. Like I said, before I even start anything, sometimes we'll sit and talk for half hour to an hour before I even do anything.
Customer service is key.
Right.
Customer
and in our business, the trust is key, and to make somebody comfortable.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you're talking about jewelry and people's, possessions, some of them have heirloom pieces and that kind of thing, a level of transparency is something that
no question,
would appreciate. Yeah.
And you already have
absolutely. Quick story. Just remembered, a young lady came into us, and she had her mother with her, and they had an antique brooch that the mother was giving the diamonds to the daughter, and it was very, very, very special to them. I guess it was passed down their family of several generations. So she wanted a certain ring made. So I drew up the ring, and then she wanted to take, I think it was like 5 other diamonds, which were all different sizes because they're older cut stones. And then she sent me a picture of something, how she wanted the ring to be made. So I designed up the ring and then measured all the stones. And of course, took the stones out very carefully in front of them so they saw everything. Made the beautiful wedding set, did all the process, the wax, drawing, down the line. And she's just thrilled. She's as pleased as punch.
Yeah, they wrote us beautiful reviews. The mother, the future son-in-law
future
and,
son-in-law
and the bride. They
and the
all
bride.
really, yeah, and we appreciate that so much from people.
Yeah, that was maybe a month or two.
Mhm.
I think maybe 2 months ago.
And
So her reviews
you
up there.
guys already have fans tuning in on Facebook Live. Jackie, and I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, Jackie. Rea, R-E-A, Jackie Rea.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
They do great work. They do great work. The Nashes did my daughter-in-law's engagement ring and my boyfriend's BF's.
Yes.
Yes.
So Jackie gives you guys a shout out on Facebook Live.
Great.
You know, Greg, when we came to interview me and Sophie a while back, you know, I knew you were something special and you have a passion behind your work. And it's the reason why we highlight local businesses like you that are in our community, that have been in our community, that give back to our community, that, you know, spend your money in our community. So it's businesses like Nash Jewelry that we need to continue to support. Greg, what's the best way, if someone's watching this video now or they're watching at a later time, what's the best way to get in contact with you? Maybe they're looking for that special ring, or they need a piece of jewelry fixed, or they need you to appraise some of their jewelry. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, they can always call my office number, which is 561-655-1658. And I always monitor my messages. Even over the weekend, I have an app from AT&T where if I get a call downtown, I'll listen to the call, and then we'll call them from the house, you know, with my cell phone. And then they can call me on my cell phone back and forth, or I can text them. Or even if they want to email me, that's fine too. And my email is gregonash54@gmail.com. So they can do that too. I pick up a lot of, I'm always on my phone, you know, looking at see if I have an email. And I know Marianne doesn't like me looking at phones so much, but, you know, I take a peek every now and then and make sure nobody's looking for me.
So Sophie, I'll tell you a funny story. I texted Greg a few weeks back to bring him on to do this thing, and I keep forgetting, and I'm gonna get there. I won't be around this week, but I'll make it down to your shop because I have. Let me show you this. I hope you guys can see this. It might be hard to see.
Rope chain.
My rope chain snapped. So.
Oh yeah, I've done thousands of those over the years.
And this is like my favorite necklace. So anyhow, enough about me. I'll bring it down to your shop and have you take a look at it. I guess it has to be soldered, is my guess.
Right, it has to be soldered, put together. Right, I'll take care of that for you.
But Greg,
it'll look like.
Greg's been, again, Sophie, it's amazing when you see the video behind me. Let me move out of the way quick. It's just so cool to me to see this. Like he's shaping, I guess, I don't know. What are you doing there, Greg, in that video with the flame? What's going on there?
I'm sizing a ring. And, you know, I use my torch, my flame. I know I have a friend of mine that has a store, and he sometimes has a laser, but I said, no, I don't need a laser. I can do it with my torch. You know, I do such little intricate little things. And of course, using the torch, I'll just whip it around, put the correct heat on there, get in and out fast so nothing happens to the stones. And, you know, I'll protect the stones like the one you see in the corner with boric acid, or it's called cool jewel if I'm sizing a colored stone. Because unfortunately, you know, you really need to know what can take heat and what can't take heat, because the heat, if you're sizing at the bottom of a ring, the heat can travel up to the stone. So, you have always, especially any color stones, you always have to protect them because you don't want that heat traveling up to it.
Well, I have to say again, stand-up guy, great family. Is the dog in the office? Did you still have the doggy? What's
yes,
the dog?
she is. I was going to get to that.
Yeah.
You know, Annabelle is our ambassador of goodwill.
Tell them I'm waking
And
up.
another little side note, we are pet friendly. So we have many customers bringing the dogs in.
There she
There
is.
she is.
She's smiling. Look at. She's smiling.
She's so used to this, I'm sure.
She is smiling.
I just woke her up. She was taking a nap.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she has her own Instagram page, and of course I use Annabella in a lot of my my posts.
Well, with a face like that, how could you not?
Yeah,
You got such a face, huh?
But a couple days ago, we had our 7th anniversary with.
Right, on Monday was
On a
our
Monday.
7th.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
And I always remind Marianne when we picked her up from the breeder and I picked her up first, she gave me the first kiss.
But she's a mama's girl now.
Oh, yeah,
There's no
yeah, she's a
question
mama's
about
girl.
that.
Well, you guys are awesome. Sophie, thanks for setting this up. Greg, Marianne, thank you guys for coming on
So much,
and telling us more
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
more about your business. Again, one more time, just so we repeat it one more time. What's the best way for someone to reach you by phone? How can they get in touch with you?
By phone at 561-655-1658. And like I said, I always monitor my calls. So, call. And also we work by appointment. So we like to we want to dedicate our time just for you. So we have no interruptions, nothing. So that your time, it's just for you. And it's, exactly your time and space.
Awesome.
Or you can reach me by email at gregonash54@gmail.com.
Awesome.
And I always, like I said, I always monitor my emails also.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on today. Sophie, thank you again.
Absolutely. Great catching up with you guys.
Oh, you too, Sophie. Sophie, great to see you too.
And
Always a pleasure.
Bye, guys. We thank you.
see you later. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You do the
Okay,
same.
great.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you,
see you
Sophie.
later.
Thank you,
Be safe.
Rob.
Yep.
Be
Bye-bye.
safe out there. Thank you. Bye-bye.